Hey, we are officially live. Now, this is my first time going live on this incredible platform right now. I'm using StreamYard, and we are technically supposed to be streaming in 3 different places. You can find us on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, and you can find me on YouTube. I'm going to do a little introduction. First and foremost, I want to welcome you all to the Vodcast, Crystal Coaching Connections, with yours truly, Crystal Moran. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to be back after a 2-year hiatus. 2 years. I can't even believe it. This podcast is all about personal development. We're going to be talking about things like mindset, personal development, conversations with like-minded people. We're going to be talking to entrepreneurs. We're going to talk to executives. We're going to talk to mothers and fathers, people, everyday people that are literally living their life and going through, different types of emotions. We're going to be talking about their journeys and, about how they are impacting their lives to create their most impactful, authentic life. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You have the opportunity to comment on here, and I should see your comments. It should come through automatically. I'm just going to do a quick, before I introduce my incredible guest today, I'm just going to check quickly on Facebook for the fun of it to see if it shows that I'm live. It shows I'm live.
Yay! I love that.
So okay, perfect. Here we go. We are here, and we've got captions on there and everything. All right. So I want to introduce my first guest. My first guest is really special to me for a couple of different reasons. I met Brooke last year, I think in the month of October, November. We had been chatting on Facebook a little bit. We met each other through a mutual group. So I'd love to introduce her. This is Brooke Robitaille. She's a dedicated wellness advocate who specializes in life coaching, somatic massage, and hypnosis as well. She's committed to empowering her individuals, often from marginalized communities, helping them to find their voice, their agency, and have actionable plans for a more fulfilling life and a state of mind. Brooke excels in nurturing emotional experiences and expression. She helps you with goal setting and achieving success in various aspects of your life, including family dynamics, professional endeavors, and intimate relationships. I love this part about you, Brooke. She's known by her evocative title, the Sacred Siren, and Brooke embodies this sacred siren alarm awakening to help us awaken the unconscious and echo in the spiritual essence of people's personal journeys. Welcome, Brooke, to the show. I'm so happy to have you here, and I can't wait to chat with you more about you, your journey, and yeah, go ahead. If you want to do a little bit more of an introduction, the floor is yours.
Well, congratulations on resuming your online interviewing projects. Congratulations. And I'm very honored and I'm very happy to be here today and to be working with you.
Oh,
Um, I really feel that this is long coming and very important. I really love the work that you're doing. So, yes, as you said, I work in life coaching and hypnosis and somatic massage. So, during the beginning of the pandemic, hypnosis, uh, I was introduced to hypnosis and it really changed my life, of calming the body, of relaxing, of learning how to focus one's mind and detach from that critical voice that can be sometimes haunting us, and learning how to quiet the critical voice and instead reprogram our mind in ways that are going to work for us more in problem solving, um, helping with the physiological reaction in the body to stress, to trauma. Sometimes we're in stress mode or our bodies hang on to trauma and we don't even know it.
yep.
And it can come out. So the funny thing that I'm learning about healing the body and excelling in itself, or going to the next level of our life, or transcending whatever issues or obstacles we're working with, or sometimes that have been infringing upon our lives for years or coming in cycles of years or decades, is due to thought patterns that we've learned from childhood, from serious experiences that we've had, and from programming of the outside world, and sometimes even um, family programming that they didn't intend to program us with, but because our families are programmed by the outside world,
Yep.
they tend to pass those programs on to us, and then we think that those characteristics are us, that they are us, but it's just that there was a lack of knowledge
Yes.
happening there, and that's where I come in. I, of course, work with anyone from any background, of course, but my specialty and my wellness of understanding are those with ethnic backgrounds, or backgrounds that have come into contact with colonialism, imperialism, um, gender dynamics, things about related to the LGBT community, and also related to wellness practitioners and health. Sorry, not wellness practitioners and spiritual practitioners, because often they can be sometimes understood or not feel that they fit in, or wondering if they process and sense things very different than other people. And so I offer my gifts and offer my services of people of that background. But again, I serve all people. But my specialty is ethnic backgrounds, and a lot of different people who feel left on the fringes, so to speak, and often felt misunderstood, or that the things that I'm going through are very complex
Yeah.
that someone wouldn't understand. And I do feel that I have a interesting view on those. I am ADHD or TDAH, ADHD. I am somewhat on the neurodivergent spectrum. Some would consider that on an autism spectrum, but for me, it's more, I would feel the a neurodivergent spectrum. I'm also identify as a woman and femme, and I'm a woman of color. So those things help me to understand people's dynamic and working with them. Like, as I said, hypnosis has been very helpful. And believe it or not, hypnosis is thousands of years old. Since ancient
It
Egypt,
is.
there was sleep temples.
I
So
love
hypnosis
that,
is
and
really
I don't
old.
want to stop you, but
Yeah,
you mentioned it twice now, and so it's something that I kind of want to come back on. You talked about hypnosis, but
yeah.
you talked about how you actually used hypnosis in your practice, but you also mentioned the fact that hypnosis helped you. What was it about this type of practice that drew you in, and what were some of the challenges that you were actually seeing in your life that drew you to this type of practice? Because I think it's important for our followers and the listeners to know that it doesn't matter who you are. We all have paths that we're actually trying to walk ourselves, regardless of where we are in our own path. And I think it's important that we show people the opportunities that you saw in your life to be able to seek hypnosis yourself and then make that decision to actually follow in that light.
Well, first, for me to answer that, I'd have to give a proper premise, because if we don't understand the dynamic of what exactly hypnosis is, I feel that where we're going in this conversation could not have the full power of its potential. And to do that, to explain a little bit of what hypnosis is the person does not black out. You cannot force anyone to be hypnotized. What
No.
I explain hypnosis as is it's that stage of feeling really relaxed before sleep, where you feel kind of groggy. Um, when someone daydreams, even watching a movie, and you get so into the movie that you could be laughing or crying, or your facial expressions are really reacting in an intense way, that means one is being, so to speak, hypnotized by that
Okay.
movie. So
Got it.
hypnosis doesn't force anyone to do anything they don't want, and you cannot open up more than you give permission to, whether it's consciously or subconscious. So I want to start there. And what we see in movies is sensationalized.
Oh yeah. Oh
So that
yeah.
that's sensationalized to sell movies. So I just want to start with that. And then there's different types of hypnosis. So people have also seen comedy on stage hypnosis. That's
Mm,
comedy hypnosis for entertainment. That is not
So
usually.
totally not the same thing and totally
That's
not the same
different.
use,
Yes,
right? They're similar in their formats, but they're actually not used for the same purpose. And
correct.
when we're talking about hypnosis today, we're talking hypnosis in the state where we are maybe trying to allow ourselves to move through certain life experiences, like you mentioned before, maybe past traumas, beliefs that we hold that have been generationally passed down, wanting to shift part of our mindsets. Am I right?
Yeah, it's for wellness and self-development. So you had asked me what was going on when I decided to use it, and I it was the beginning of the pandemic, which for everyone would be intense, but for those that do not have a conventional job, which was my job at the time. It was in a different field, but it was an unconventional job, and I was self-employed. So for when the pandemic happened, it was like your income is completely uh, was completely cut when they did the lockdown. They announced it within a couple days. Um, I also was working with different family dynamics, and I have a son. So I was working with very intense family dynamics that were collapsing. So basically, most of the world felt that it was literally collapsing around me. So that would create, I would say, a full burnout,
Yep.
um, and a breaking down of old, like of literally how I saw the world in the physical world and the emotional world around me was in an earthquake. So I was having issues with a lot of regular functioning, um,
Mm.
and so I came across um, a lady who does hypnosis, and I told myself, well, what do I have to lose? We're on lockdown. We're on lockdown. We're on lockdown. Um, I'm here. I'm in home. I've tried a lot of other things at that. At that point, I was in my mid 30s. I'm like, I've tried so many things. What do I have to lose? And I did it, and it changed everything. I was able to quiet my mind, because what it does is like, how would I compare it? Is like, imagine trying, imagine trying to have a plane do a takeoff, but there's cars driving on the
On the
runway,
tarmac, yeah.
on the tarmac. Thank you. So our constant, conscious, intrusive thoughts, whether that's like our programming or what's the groceries, I have this bill, I have this lunch to make, I have this meeting coming up. What will my boss, this happened with my boss, this happened with a sibling, this happened with a parent. Um,
Yeah.
I have all these government documents to take care of, la 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 la. So those I compare is all the cars on the tarmac as you're trying to emotionally regulate, as you're trying to hopefully doing regular self-reflection to find out, how can I go to the next level of my life? What are my barriers?
Mm.
What are the consistent obstacles I'm facing in cycles? Like I can mention, it could be year cycle, 5 year, 10 year cycle, 10 years. Some people even face 20-year cycles
Yep.
of growing and then coming back and hitting a similar or the same problem, those like upper limit problems.
One of our favorite books, Gay Hendricks. Very good book.
Exactly. We highly recommend that. Through Crystal's suggestion, I have read that book. And yes, the Guy Hendricks is so subconsciously, sometimes we're afraid of growth, or someone said something or did something, or we saw in our family or a close friend of our family when we were young or impressionable, give themselves a limit, and we subconsciously implant that limit because that's what we saw. And then we
Yep.
carry around other people's limits and we don't even know it.
Yep.
And so that's why I'm really interested in working with hypnosis, because sometimes people come. So most hypnosis, I don't really deal with past life regression, stuff like that is not my specialty. But what people usually come is they come after a symptom has occurred. So usually people come, usually a lot of hypnotists, they work, oh, weight management, weight loss. smoking cessation.
That's a
Smoking
word, eh? It's a
cessation,
mouthful.
yes. And stress management are the three often pillars in the mainstream. And those are the byproducts, those are the external showings of what's actually going on. And there's a root problem. So, what happens is because humans in marketing and how to relay with them, we approach them usually in what is the outward obvious problem that they have as a byproduct of a real root issue. So a
Yep.
real root issue could be family dynamics that haven't been resolved. I know we're using the word trauma a lot, but stress or trauma, it's creating a block in success of someone's life or in their body, in their health.
Mhm.
And the outcomes of those unresolved topics, how the body deals with that is, and physiologically and mentally, is it needs an outlet, and the mind and literally the physiology of the body. And that will result in issues of um, weight management sometimes, or
Yep.
smoking. The body wants to release the stress, right? Process the stress. So there's smoking then, or there's just the overall umbrella of stress. So that's how most hypnotists um, in US they may call it hypnotherapy. In Canada, it's usually referred to as hypnotist. That's how we end up coming into contact with the client. But if I may be so direct, usually it's because of um, a deep seated, unprocessed subject. I
Yeah.
don't call it a problem because it
Nope.
makes it seem like it's somebody did something wrong and like somebody made it on purpose. It's an unresolved, unprocessed subject in the mind, the body, and the physiology. And
I love the way that you describe that. I really love the way that you describe that because it's again, it's not a problem. None of
mm-hmm,
these things, when it comes to personal development, we are never the problem. We
mm-hmm,
are our own solution, but we have to figure out exactly what's the subject that's behind it. Similar to, I mean, I'm pretty sure that your burnout, my burnout, it was a lot of unresolved issues from many different aspects of our lives, right? The burnout happens, but the burnout is the symptom of a built up over time. I use the word limiting beliefs, right? Those are beliefs that we hold about ourselves and the way that we operate in the world. And like you said before, those come from so many different places, from family, from genetics, from friends, from yourself, from experiences that we've lived through.
mm-hmm,
And one of the things is that, I think I've told you this, and many people who know me have heard me say this, is like we've got 95% of what we do is on a subconscious level. And that subconscious level, it's all auto programming. It's all programming that has been given to us from, experience, life, and so many different things.
mm-hmm,
When we are not conscious of that
mm-hmm,
subconscious, this is where it lies, the areas that we can probably see as subjects that need to be improved upon. And once we start doing the work and bringing things into the conscious, we have 100% control of that 95% subconscious.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's two things that come to mind is the power of the voice, and I don't mean just the vocal voice, which is interesting because the voice are vocal cords that vibrate, right?
Yep.
And they say that words have power and words can almost give life. And the funny thing is that is literally a vibration. And people think, oh, when people talk like that, it's hokey pokey, it's granola talk.
Nope.
But the really interesting thing is your vocal cords literally vibrate. If you touch your neck, they're vibrating. So that is a vibration. So it's true that words are a vibration, and vibrations can change a frequency of a person and where they're going and where they were. And so that's why creating the voice is very important, because there's the vocal voice in our vocal cords and in our reality, in our tangible material world, but also there's the inner voice. And by working with life coaching or by working with hypnosis, all that programming of what people um, said, like for example, said I am, or you are, and when I say you, I mean the audience, not
Yes.
necessarily directed at Crystal, but when society has said you are this because of your gender, you are this because of your skin tone, you are this because of the type of hair you have, you are this because of your genealogy, you are this because you live in this country. When we're constantly told from birth till now, you are this. And I won't get too deep in the rabbit hole. since,
I mean,
since
we're going pretty deep anyway, but
it's the
it's good.
first meeting. But there are 5 companies that own most of the resources in the known world right now.
Yes.
So you start to wonder, who gave you the narrative?
Yeah.
Who
That's
who programmed the country you're in? Who programmed your family?
Mhm.
And when did that start?
Yeah.
Right? And looking at where we grow up and who we are, there's countries that existed before the Industrial Revolution. And when you see that, and this is stressors for all people of all colors, no matter what the color is here in Canada, whether they look like they're of European descent or not, we're all in this structure. Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing that's very important is why I have the moniker Sacred Siren is because we all have a tribalism, where you had time for healing, time for sacred bathing, time for nutrition, time to grow your food. In the old ways, even of the European lineage before the Industrial Revolution, we worked maybe 20 hours a week.
Mm.
When they've done the anthropological studies.
Yeah.
There was time for healing, there was time for rest, there was time for spirituality. There was a less likely to have to be in burnout mode.
Yeah, because it allowed us to be in that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. And I say this all the time is that we spend so much time in fight or flight. We're running from the moment we wake up in the morning to the time we hit the pillow at night. And sleep is not enough for us to actually be able to recover and place us in a place of rest and digest, to allow the parasympathetic nervous system to calm us down, to bring us to a place of ease. And it is so important that we remember that. And anyway, I mean, I don't want to take away from what you're saying. I think that everything that you're saying here is absolutely phenomenal, Brooke. And I love how you're bringing history into it, because the history around a lot of this stuff is very, very unknown. A lot of people don't understand the difference between the way that we live today and the way that we lived maybe 50 years ago, because we're not talking about that long ago.
It
50
is,
years ago. 50
it,
years ago
it
is
is
not a long
known.
time.
It is known, but it has been purposely being erased so that
Mm.
we cannot access it. And I don't mean to be again too hokey pokey. And
I
I'm in
like
no
hokey
sense,
pokey.
and
That's
I'm
why
in
we
no
work together. I like hokey pokey.
And I'm in no sense saying I'm trying to go the guru route. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that's why I go by Sacred Siren, because I want to be a friendly alarm, not an alarming alarm, but I want to be a friendly reminder, a friendly alarm to go back to the basics, to go back to our root way, our root work, because
Yeah.
it's not just a thing about color or it we were when we were in the tribe, whether it was an Irish tribe, a European tribe, an African tribe, a Jamaican tribe, the indigenous people of there was there you were in the root.
Yeah.
And 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 the funny thing is, a lot of wellness and spirituality is a lot of root work,
Uh-huh.
and it's supposed to be like this new, oh, spirituality,
But it's
like
not.
it's all the old stuff that certain systems have deemed to erase or say we don't have time for that.
I was in a workshop last week, and I just want to kind of circle
Yeah, of
this around,
course,
because I
please.
thought it
Yes.
was something that was really, it was really profound. That it was a question that I asked to the group. So I came in there, I was doing a workshop on leadership, but personal leadership, not having to do with your business. Obviously, it can be translated into the things that you do every day, but really leadership in the sense of personal development. And I asked the question, how many of you have heard about personal development? And there were almost 50 people in the room. And I had nobody really raise their hand. And so I asked the question again. They're like, and they came back and they were like, no, I've heard of business development, professional development, and that erasure of something that is actually supposed to be the forefront of every single human being has literally been erased. It's like you said, the narrative is being discussed. And so my goal, and I'm sure your goal as well, is to bring this to the forefront, to make sure that people know that this is an absolute normal part of life, and bringing it back down to your experience again, because, there's a couple of topics. I mean, we're already 27 minutes in. I can't even believe how fast this has gone. But that's why I want to talk about your journey a little bit, right? Because not only are you an incredible coach, we've had the opportunity to also work together in a coaching relationship. And so,
Yes, yes.
what for you made you, I know you did the hypnosis thing and you were like, I am going to do this because, what else do I have to lose? Right. Because at this
Mm,
point, we're in the middle of the pandemic. Now,
mm,
post pandemic, you're coming out of the pandemic. And I know you
mm,
started doing a lot of soul searching, and that's how we found each other online. But
mm.
what for you was the catalyst to bring you into a coaching or mentorship relationship with somebody like me? And what made you decide to choose the path that you were choosing? Because you can go so many different ways, right? You could have gone back to school for whatever it is that you wanted to learn, or you could have, done different types of programs. But the path that you chose was maybe a path that some other people are looking into. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about how you ended up making that decision for yourself and what it is that you were looking for when you were looking for that mentorship relationship.
Yes, so yes, correct. I haven't outwardly explained it properly since we have come on this beautiful meeting today. Is that yes, Crystal is my coach, and what happened? What happened when I learned hypnosis and got exposed? Is I learned that I will forever need mentors and coaches for
Oh my God.
my spiritual, mental, psychological, psychiatric, psychic, all the icks, all the e's, all the is. I will forever need mentors, open ears, support systems, and this is what has been, I feel, stolen in the Western world. And
Mm,
I will say controversial things because I am committed to my purpose, and as using the moniker Sacred Siren is, it has been commodified and waiting listed.
mm.
And though, yes, you should always, if you need a psychiatrist, go see a psychologist. Yes, go see your yes, go do it. I am not saying do, but it has been commodified and industrialized and systemicized.
Yes.
Um, when if someone is sexually assaulted, if someone has deep trauma, where do you go if you don't get access in 1 year to a psychologist or psychiatrist? What are you supposed to do? Sit at home and just sit with it, or
Mm,
trauma dump on your family members?
mm.
In other cultures, there's shamans, there's healing women, healing men, two-spirited healers,
Mhm.
there's root workers, there's doulas,
Chakra workers, doulas. Yeah.
death doulas, birth doulas. In the other countries before Western industrialization, cultures that were existing, they had people that you could work with to process, to heal, to grow, to transcend, to flourish, to self-actualize.
So this is not a new thing. This is just something that has been long forgotten with the Industrial Revolution.
With a
Yeah,
lot of
I
dynamics,
said it, not you.
with a lot
I,
of dynamics, yes. But
there's a lot of dynamics.
right now, we're too made too obsessed to be obsessed with the credit score, the system, um, and individuality, not through a point of it's not our fault. We've been programmed with this individuality that, they've done studied it in America and US, and most people said that when they have a problem, they don't even have two people to call that they can talk to.
Yeah, that's
Because,
really powerful.
mhm, mhm, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's really powerful because the other thing too is that, we don't want to be dumping on our families, right? We don't want to be dumping on our loved ones on a regular basis, right? So who do we have? What are those outlets? How can we grow ourselves without placing placing that burden, let's just say, on the people that we love,
Mm, mm.
right? I found in my growth, I love my husband to death. He's probably watching. I love my husband to death. And
Yes.
there are things that, I didn't necessarily want to tell him while I was going through, certain periods of my life, right? For fear that I would be judged by the person that I love, right? For fear of, and I know we shouldn't feel that way, but it is completely natural. I work with a lot of men, and, the whole concept of being a strong man that takes care of their wife, that's a provider, that, doesn't show emotions and so on and so forth. When I get a man in my space, I teach them that they have the ability to be able to be that person, be the part of themselves that they always wanted to be, and slowly but surely be able to bring that out into the world. And so I feel like that's the outlet that we are. That's what we have to offer, right?
Well, exactly, because the tribal clan support system has been taken away, and then you're only left with the academic, industrial, medical system as references, which is very hard to access and doesn't always see the full human, the
Mhm.
full humanship of someone. And again, those places are useful for people. I'm not saying they are not useful, but because the access is so limited also for men, that they're alienated.
Yeah.
Their emotional, psychological, and mental well-being is alienated because they've transferred the clan tribal support system to a very sterile, academic, bureaucratic system in place. So that creates some problems.
I'm just gonna say it. I love the way that you are so forward with your thought process, and that was one of the things that I loved about you when we first met. You're an advocate. You're an advocate for real voices,
Hmm.
and you know, I have had the pleasure of working with you for now. I don't know how long, since November,
It's
something
been a
like that.
minute. It's been a minute, as they say.
And one of the things that I love about you, and I'm sure that you're going to be passing this along into your client, I'm sure you pass it along to your clients already, but it is you're not afraid to ask for what it is that you need. And that takes a lot of strength. And I'm sure it's taken you many years to be able to learn how to ask those questions. But I want to commend you on that. And, just because it was something that we went through together, right? When we had our sessions every 2 weeks, and um, you were ready. You were just like, you know what? I need more. I need more. I need more calls. I need more proximity. And you made me realize that there's opportunity to shift and to change dynamics and to just be able to ask for what it is that you want. Ask and you shall receive. And so I love that about you. And I love how you're going to be bringing that into the work that you do with your clients. So tell me, how available are you for your clients? What's your schedules looking like? Tell me let's tell our
Exactly.
listeners
So
where they
I
can find you.
Yeah, for sure. My website just launched, sacredsiren.ca.
Yay!
Um, and also I'm by this name, Brooke Powers, on Facebook. And I'm Sacred Siren also on Instagram. Um, Maybe we'll put some information up on Crystal's page in the next little while in case.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. We've been streaming to 3 different places. So we'll go onto Facebook. We'll find the
Mm,
live over there. You'll go ahead and put all of your contact information underneath the live video because I want people
mm,
to be able to reach out and find you.
mm,
Same thing for YouTube. I have no idea how that's going to look on YouTube, to be totally honest. I'm going to go look
mhm.
at it afterwards. And the third place is on LinkedIn. So we'll do the same things. We'll make sure that you're able to get people to reach out. Do you offer discovery sessions?
Yes, great question. Yes, discovery call for life coaching or hypnosis. And for those located in Montreal, I do offer somatic massage for women. So that is stress release. And if some people want to go to the next level, there's also in terms of somatic, and it can be like trauma release or things locked in the body using using massage. And I always have a very empathic, wholehearted, human approach to whenever I receive anyone, especially if it's in physical person. Me being on this spectrum, I'm very sensitive to like lighting, how the tone they like to have spoke to, intonation, smells around them. So I'm very aware of things like that. So that's really important to me with my somatic and massage work. And as I said, I mostly help women with somatic massage, but then there's the free discovery calls for life coaching and hypnosis.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Brooke. Brooke, I am so happy that you were my first guest on the show.
Thanks for
I am
having me.
honored that you said yes. Having had the opportunity to not only meet Brooke through our coaching practice, but I've become very good friends with Brooke as a fellow life coach, as a fellow healer. I'm honored to be around people like you who are helping to change the world, to bring back personal development and to bring back that village atmosphere, to break down these generational traumas or these generational wounds that have happened. I do very similar in the work that I do. I specialize in, obviously the stress and the burnout aspect of things. But I also specialize on working with coaches, to bring about their business. And so, I've been honored to be able to work alongside you. And all I want is your success. All I want is to see you flourish and grow. And I'm looking forward to the next steps in our journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I wish you a beautiful Friday and a beautiful weekend and success in your further interviews. I know you work with a lot of really great, powerful people. Anyone who I've met in your network or who I've met through your extensive knowings of people have been very powerful, beautiful, strong individuals who really know what they're doing. So I wish you success in the rest of your interview series and all the best.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I really appreciate having you here. To everybody that has watched, to everybody who is watching the replay, thank you so much for joining me. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on any one of the platforms. You can reach me on Facebook by DMing me, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of the places. And if you have my number, you can feel free to go ahead and text me. I'm around to, have conversations with you about personal development. And I'm very, very looking forward to seeing what the rest of this season is going to do. Thank you so much, Brooke. I appreciate you so much. Love you all. Have a beautiful day.